2024, we could see that matchup in 2044. The stars of today, tomorrow, and it's going to keep on going. But Jorden Van Foreest, he is a Dutch star. He won this event a couple of years back. I guess it's 3 years ago now. But I keep thinking that, 2021, just 2 years, means that there are some long-term chances to create a pass pawn on the queen side. This bishop can take the knight on d5 at any moment, Ivanka. Then we can get knight versus bishop. So what do you make of this position? Is it really that equal, or do you believe that maybe both sides can play for a little something?
Well, I'm always reminded in these type of positions that it's the person that can create the pass pawn, because you kind of mentioned that there are pawn imbalances, and I'll take a look at Black's pawn advantage there on the right side of the board. It has got double pawns. That's not necessarily the best thing in the world to have when you're trying to create a pass pawn. But take a look at that c pawn. I mean, it has no rival. So White does have the straightforward plan of just, utilizing those open lines for the rooks, and at the right time, just putting pressure on the black position by advancing the pawn to c4, maybe b4, try to do it in a harmonious way. I think White definitely has the advantage, but the position is very much holdable for Black.
I agree, and I think one of the big questions that I always ask myself is, what trades are acceptable? For instance, would Black be happy trading c for b pawn, or would that make White's life easier? Would this bishop for knight trade take away the only minor piece for Black that can control the dark squares, or does it hand too many of the light squares to Black's bishop? These are really difficult questions to answer. I'm posing them for everyone in the audience's benefit. These are questions you need to ask yourself when you get endgames just like this. Why do trades benefit you? What are you aiming for? How do you create that pass pawn without having any ramifications in your own position? So these are not questions that I can easily answer either, Ivanka. I wouldn't really want to take on d5 just yet, but I could see a future where that's a good idea to then maybe plant my knight on a dark square.
Yeah, and I can definitely see a future where some trades they happen on the board, and then White is the one advancing those pawns. But I feel that White has a small advantage. I do feel that White's position is every endgame grinder's dream. They have something concrete to play for. They have a plan. And shall we go back to the bird's eye view and check in on the
And c5, again, looking like you're going in the right direction because of rook takes g2. And I do think that maybe this is what he really overlooked. He thought that black would just go pawn grabbing, but white can take on f7. In this scenario, white can also push the c-pawn. That's a dangerous pass pawn that black now needs to deal with. c7 and knight e5, all sorts of ideas for white to even play for a win. But sometimes when you try to entertain winning chances, or you play a little bit more on the edge, you pay the price. And the threat of rook takes d4 just to go to line position, this is the big threat, everybody. Taking away the only white piece that can cover the e1 square the white king were to take back.
It's very painful, especially because if Jorden had just used a general rule that we all have, that we're all taught, but we all forget, is just think about what your opponent wants to do. And when you kind of consider that, then rook d2 is very obvious, because all he wants to do is promote the e-pawn. But instead he was kind of confused by all the other particular variations of, those forcing moves, rook takes g2, bishop takes g2, all these kind of other lines which were really inconsequential to black's big idea of promoting the pawn. It's a mistake we all fall into. It's a painful lesson though for Jorden.
And it's just really sad because the geometry of the position is such that he can't possibly get his rook back. There is no rook b7, the bishop covers that. Rook takes f7, and just to put this one on the board, after rook takes d4, king takes d4, pawn e2, you can't bring your rook back because the pawn will capture it. So the geometry is really unfortunate for Jorden Van Foreest. Even in some of these positions where his rook would try to wiggle its way back to the first rank, not available to him, and it's just going to be a loss, and a very painful one for the Dutch fans who saw Max Vormerdam lose with the white pieces to Jan de Palmschi. They're about to see Jorden Van Foreest lose with white against Alireza Firouzja.
And it's one of those things where also the bishop on e4 is on the same line as the promotion square on e1. It's like so everything aligns for black, and there we see it, resignation from Jorden Van Foreest, and Alireza Firouzja, he nets the full point.
He does, and you see the players talking, the arbiter, getting those score sheets signed so that the players can continue discussing whatever they want to talk about. But you see Jorden, he's shaking his head. He's like, what did I do there? I can't believe it. A blown opportunity with the white pieces. He just threw away a half point.
Yeah, painful mistake from Jorden. But well played to Alireza Firouzja, who turned around what I thought was a slightly disadvantageous endgame. He succeeded in making it complicated. He succeeded in posing enough tricks to confuse the Dutchman. And